Hello, friends. Bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Kahlo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co host is David, aka Premier Pulls on social media.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, Jen explains the big three.
Welcome to the show. Grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
So, we didn't have too many community discussion post activities or comments going on, but we did have one from Crystal, aka Waxy Aesthetics on Instagram. She said, "This episode had so much info for a new topic for me. I can't wait to start practicing."
Yeah, it was a really good one for learning. It's one of the few episodes where I had really no idea what scrying was. And I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the reflective surface part. I think that was really cool. But yeah, if you have any questions about it or want to know more, you can always reach out to Genesis and inquire. Have you done any scrying since our last episode?
No, I haven't. But since our last episode, I went to go see Crystal for a wax, and it was really great. But while we were talking, she was telling me that she inherited a crystal ball from her grandma.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is super cool. And she just moved. Congratulations on the new house. And so she's unpacking and she's like, "Oh, this is how my grandma used it." So that's going to be really amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a cool little heirloom to leave behind. So today we're going to talk about the big three. Off the bat, when I first heard we were doing this episode, the big three's a new basketball league. Well, it's like a couple years old. That was started by Ice Cube. And basically, it's 3-on-3 basketball with like retired NBA players. So when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna get like copywritten by Ice Cube." But no, that I just thought that was kind of funny. But the big three, I always hear you talking about it in passing. I think I've kind of understood it just based on you like mentioning it so much. This is like your bread and butter, huh?
Yeah, this is astrology. So this is astrology based.
This is one of the like I think the tarot we did kind of right away because that's something that you practice, and then I'm surprised we took this long to do this one because I feel like you would have been wanting to talk about this one a little bit more.
I just feel like we focused a lot more on transits rather than foundational knowledge, because transits are what people know, like the eclipses, Mercury retrograde, instead of like the foundational, what is this, I feel like people work their way backwards. But your big three, you could think of it as your three MVPs.
Well, they're not MVPs. They're retired. So basically, okay, a little sidetrack. The idea is that the people still want to see their favorite players play. So Ice Cube was like, they still got a couple years left in those knees, but obviously they can't compete in the NBA because they're younger, faster, quicker. But it's like, I wonder if these legends could still play. And it kind of started with like a lot of older retired players saying, "Man, like my mind is still super sharp, just my body can't keep up with it." Mm-hmm. So Ice Cube was like, "Well, then let's test that theory." And so they have some. I think I heard through the grapevine so that they might be adding, I heard Ice Cube offered Caitlin Clark, which is like, if you haven't heard of Caitlin Clark, you're probably living under a rock, but she's like the number one women's basketball player right now. But I heard he offered her a $5 million contract to play. So hopefully she takes it up. And if she does, we're definitely going to be watching this season.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's not MVPs. They're like washed out MVPs.
Oh, don't call them washed out. They're just wise. Anyway, so your big three represents your three most unique aspects because they change the most frequently, therefore rendering the most unique combinations. So the big three are very unique to you. Like someone would have to be born relatively in the same place, relatively at the same time, and definitely the same day. So
Oh, so there's a geographical aspect to it?
Yes, there
I
is.
didn't know that. I thought it was just like time and date.
So it's date, time, location.
Oh, okay. A little throwback to our astrocartography episode.
Yeah, a little bit. So, tropical astrology, basically what I practice. Carolyn Goodall, which is an astrologer, said it best. The tropical zodiac is not determined by the stars, but by the Earth's two planes of motions, its daily rotation on its axis and its annual rotation around the sun, aka the seasons, aka the equinoxes and solstices.
Okay.
So that's how things are determined. And because the Earth is on an axis, the basically like angle of where you are on Earth changes to like where you are around the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how that happens. That's why location is important.
Okay.
But your sun sign
Which
is
is kind of the colloquial, like, what's your sign, right? That's like the main.
yeah, when everyone's like, what's your sign? The one that everyone knows just because of like their birthday, that's your sun sign.
Got it. Okay.
That's what pretty much everybody knows, which is still a super important piece of you, don't get me wrong.
But there's more to it.
But there's more to it, yeah. So your sun sign is where the sun was, you know, in the sky, we'll say, at the time of your birth. It changes about every 28 days, you know, about once a month. There are 12 months, there are 12 signs. It represents basic personality traits and how you choose to navigate the world.
Okay.
And then your moon sign is where the moon was in the sky at the time of your birth. It can also represent your relationship with your mom. It changes every 2.5 days. It's emotions, where you feel at home, and also deep desires.
Okay. Kind of some Freudian parallels.
I didn't think about that. That's very interesting. And then your rising sign, also known as ascendant, those terms are interchangeable, where the eastern horizon was touching the sky at the time of your birth. So that changes every more or less 2 hours. That's why when people were like, I was born at night, it's like that's 6 different signs. Yeah, that can make a world of difference. So I checked for funsies once I found out your birth time. And if you were...
What does that one determine?
Your rising sign.
No, I know, but what personality traits? Because you said the sun is like your basic personality, your persona.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I got ahead of myself because I was excited about this. Anyway, your rising sign determines how you process information and view the world, your aesthetic at its best, and the order in which your houses line up for astrology to make the rest of your birth chart. So if you ever read like a basic horoscope from like a magazine or a web article.
Those little scrolls at the grocery store outlet?
Yes.
At grocery store outlet. Oh, we got to go grocery shopping. That's probably why I did a shameless plug. No, at the grocery store checkout is what I meant to say. Do they still make those? They're like they kind of look like little lip balms, and you pick one out and you open it and it has your astrology. Did you ever see those growing up?
No, I didn't.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I also haven't looked. But they look like a they kind of look like little chapsticks. They look like a chapstick dispenser, and it was a scroll, and you would pick it out, and then it would like tell you whatever.
You say chapstick and I'm triggered.
Oh yeah.
So the other day I was having an allergic reaction to a chapstick, and David was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Look at yourself in the mirror." And I had like a full body rash. I was super red. I was like, "What the hell?"
We were bringing out knives. It was really scary.
Yeah, I didn't feel it until he told me, and then I was like, "Oh shit." Anyway, so if you ever read like a basic horoscope that just says like Aries, blah blah blah, read for your rising sign. It's way more accurate because how astrologers write horoscopes is through the lens of the rising. But because most people don't know their rising sign, they read for their sun sign, which is the only sign most people know. It's still semi-accurate, but it's the most accurate when you read for your rising sign.
And the best pictures when you do all three, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you could analyze all three for sure. Anyway, with your birth chart, I was getting excited because I was like, the moon changes every 2.5 days, and then your rising sign changes every 2 hours. I wonder if you had a moon change when you were born, like within that hour. And if you were born, let's say, I don't remember the exact time, I have it written down, but let's say you were born at 2 o'clock. So between 2 and 2:13 was one moon sign, and then 2:14 to the rest was another moon sign. So not, you were in the middle of a moon shift.
You're talking about me specifically?
Yes, you specifically.
Oh, okay. And does that happen for a lot of people, or it's just kind of unique?
It's unique because it changes every 2.5 days, but you were right there. So your time doesn't always have like such a dramatic impact on your moon sign, but for you specifically, because you were right there, it did. So if we didn't have your exact time, like I could have gotten a lot of things wrong.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I know not when we first started dating, because I don't think you let the weirdness out right away. But once you started like studying and you were like looking for my astrological signs and everything, you kept bugging me. You're like, when were you born? Where were you born? I was like, I know I was there, I just don't remember. Sorry I didn't take a screenshot of the time, but you got so excited when we moved, and I don't know if this is everybody out there comment, but like in a lot of like Mexican households, your parents keep your documents well into your adulthood. Mm-hmm. So I literally got all my documents, I think, semi-recently in 2021 when we actually finally moved and bought a home.
Yeah.
And you were so quick to run to my baby box and open up my birth certificate. And you were like, oh my gosh, this is it. It was like the Wonka's golden ticket.
It really was.
And then it's funny because, yeah, that I guess now that you mentioned, that time was super critical for you to better understand my moon sign, right?
Yeah. So what if you don't know your birth time?
And that's it. You're fine. Stop listening to this episode.
It's not the worst. There's still a lot of important information you can gather. You could still find out you could find out your sun sign and then the rest of the planets, Mercury, Venus, blah, 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 because they all rotate way more slowly. So you'll know that information for sure, which is still very helpful. If you are like dying to know your rising sign, but have absolutely no way of getting like your birth time, let's say for some reason they didn't record it, you don't have access to, anyone present at your birth to ask them, etc. You could pay an astrologer to retroactively like make a determination of what your rising sign could be. And like a really good astrologer will look at like your aesthetic, how you present yourself, and then like cut out certain possibilities and then sort of try to like shape things. So
educated guess.
Yes, but it's more sophisticated than that. It takes a lot of time, but yeah, that is a process that you could do.
Okay. So I kind of like the idea of the whole big picture, and we just finished watching the 3-Body Problem, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought that was appropriate for this episode because I was like, oh, okay, those are 3 celestial bodies, and now we're not talking about 3 celestial bodies, but we're talking about 3 different times within the celestial bodies, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of people in the astrology community, when they present themselves, they say like, hi, my name is blah,
Slim
blah. My name is Slim Shady and my big 3 are blah, blah, blah. And like eventually once you're like really deep, you don't even have to say Leo sun, Libra moon, Libra rising. You just say Leo, Libra, Libra, and they know what that means.
LLL.
Yeah, LLL.
I'm not that deep down the rabbit hole, but you are for sure, right?
Yeah.
Question: what happens if somebody's like born on the eclipse? Just burn that baby.
No, don't burn the baby.
Toss the baby.
Oh my god. No. It means that
they're fucked.
No. They're just born with like very intense energy. Because depending on which eclipse it was.
What if it was this eclipse, the one we just experienced?
I mean, basically, with the eclipses, they're touching the nodes of fate, which are like not physical things in the sky, but they're geometric points in the sky related to like, if you want to call it karma or fate, you could call it that. But it's just very intense energy. I feel like this is veering a little bit away from the topic, but basically either the sun and the moon are like perfectly close together or at extreme opposites, like the most opposite you could get. Either way, that's like very intense energy, because that means that either like their emotions and who they are as a person are so aligned that you're just like, damn, that person, like their presence is known. Or when they're at complete opposites, it's like, I don't know why this makes me think of like the tortured genius trope of like their mind is so like vast and deep, but like they can't express themselves, but you could tell there's a lot beneath the surface. Like, yeah, I hope that makes sense.
No, it totally does. And it's got to be a whammy if you obviously believe in the stars and all that, to be born on like an eclipse, right?
Yeah, and I feel like those people are probably like more sensitive to stuff because like their sun and their moon are, and their nodes are all like together. So you have a concentration of energy. So then like, let's say it's Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
Then Mercury retrograde, depending on where it is, but let's say it is aspecting, meaning it's within a certain amount of degrees, could not. So let's say your sun and your moon are together like it is on a solar eclipse.
Yeah.
And let's say Mercury is making a square, which is very challenging. It means that like these energies are fighting. So then not only is like your essential personality and the way you move through the world being challenged, but your emotions are also being challenged. And also your driving force, your north node, is also being challenged compared to just one of those things.
So a lot of like inner conflict.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good thing it happens so rarely.
Yeah, eclipse babies, they're intense.
Yeah. Do you know any personal eclipse babies?
I think both the presidential candidates are eclipse babies.
Cool. So anything else we need to know about the big three?
They're just very unique to you. If you memorize anything, I feel like these are the most essential things to memorize. Maybe you don't have to memorize your whole chart, but like if you memorize these three things, that's like the biggest anchor in your astrology. And like if that's all you track, you know, I feel like those are good things to track.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So now we're going to take a little bit of time for our personal examples. I'm guessing we're going to talk about yours. We're going to talk about mine. And then we're going to talk about some famous people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Were you excited for this?
Yeah, I am.
figured. Yeah. So a little before we started, Genesis was like, I need celebrities. And I guess my picks were a little interesting, but we'll obviously go over them. So let's start with you, because obviously you're the expert and you know what's up. So what are your big three?
Yeah. So my sun is in Leo, my moon is in Libra, and my rising is in Libra. So really, I'm a horrible liar, or like I don't have a good poker face.
Okay.
Like, because my moon, which is my emotions, and then my rising, which is like how I process information and also present myself, like, yeah, they're so aligned. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So,
Okay.
But then with my sun, basic personality traits, I feel like I'm a stereotypical Leo, probably like in my fashion. I feel like it's a combination of Leo and Libra, but I definitely like shiny things. If it wasn't for me like being in like a manager role and working like where I work, I would definitely be more like ostentatious. I would definitely be like out there. Okay, I would tell you like my dream aesthetic if I could. I would definitely have a lot more tattoos. I would have definitely like super dyed hair, probably like a bright purple.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple body mods. And definitely like if I had money, I would definitely buy a lot of unique fashion choices. When I was younger,
So peacocking.
yes.
Okay.
When I was younger, I made really interesting makeup choices, and low key, I kind of miss those days. Like on our first date, I wore this like royal purple
You
to,
look like you couldn't breathe. I was like, your lips are purple, or like I was like, can you breathe?
I'm giving suffocation. And then when I took the GRE, I wore a gray lipstick, and I still think it looks so fierce. I've worn lavender has also been beautiful. I've worn blues. Yeah. Anyway, that's just me.
Well, you keep talking about it, and you don't need to be rich to express yourself.
No, you don't. But also, I don't know. I just feel like I'm a little bit older. I'm like, I shouldn't be so out there. I don't know. It's something I'm dealing with. Anyway.
So next time you see Jen, she's gonna have piercings, tattoos,
No,
mohawk.
no. That'd be cool, but no.
I have a really sidetrack story with a guy in high school I went to school with. He had what are the ones where they're like spiked mohawks?
Liberty Spikes?
Yes, Liberty Spikes. They're like a mohawk, but they like gel them, right? And
Yeah.
Okay. So he had crazy Liberty Spikes, had super just kind of grungy, kind of metal vibe, right? And he was very out there as far as like his style. And he grew up near my grandma's house, and my mom always like would look at him, and she's like, you know what? I really admire that kid. And I was like, oh, like that's interesting, because I feel like as a parent, especially like an older Latino parent, the first thing would be like, son cosas del diablo, like look at that degenerate out in the street. And then I asked her like, well, like, yeah, like why do you admire? She's like, well, think about it. He has the hairdo, and that's not something that you just wake up and like you're good to go out the door. It takes time, it takes dedication. So I'm sure he wakes up super early, and like he's telling the world like this is my expression, and the dedication to it is very admirable, is what she would say. Because it was very obvious that he like put a lot of work into his aesthetic, but instead of like being shocked or repulsed by it, she was very like admired by his dedication. And I think that was really cool, because that's a really interesting take of like, it's very easy to be dismissive of somebody, but that's true. I mean, that took a lot of time, took a lot of dedication, even with the loud makeup or dyeing your hair. Like, it's telling the world not only like your self-expression, but it's also saying this is who I am, and I'm sticking to this aesthetic or whatever as a form of expression. So she did it more justice and explained it, but I thought it was really, really interesting that was her reaction to it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, definitely. Like, so this reminds me with my sun sign in Leo. Well, your sun sign is in Leo too. So, when you don't live your authentic self, because Leos are the lions, they make like an entrance. They're supposed to be leaders, but like when you dim your light and you're not living up to your, authentic vision of you in your life, like you feel very sad. I did that for many years, and
it's like a lion in captivity.
Yeah, I got like I was sick for a long time because I had to just like quiet who I really was.
Like
and
repress. Like repress yourself.
Yeah, it was not great. And also like I feel like lions are very loyal to their pack. Like I'm very loyal to my friends. I want to stand up for them. I want to defend them. Like it's easy for me to like stand up for other people rather than like myself. I'm very like selfless, and you are too in that way.
Lions also eat other babies who are from an opposing pride. So
exactly. They're not in the in club. You have to be in the inner circle. Anyways, I don't eat babies, contrary to popular opinion. But I also don't feel my best if I don't have a good hair day. If my hair is not how I want it, I feel like crap. So that might that might also be a Leo thing.
It's your main?
It's my main.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Both of us are in managerial roles. Like, so my Libra moon, so Libras are air signs. They value communication, teamwork. They also value aesthetic, but above all, they value harmony and justice. So I'm not like a belligerent Leo that's like, everybody look at me, because I have my Libra balancing me out. So
Genesis, I don't want people to look at me. Also, Genesis, I want bright neon purple hair.
but I'm not doing that for attention. I'm doing that for myself.
Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, so because of that, like if someone else is like, I want to be the leader of this project, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, whatever. But if nobody is stepping up, then it's like, I'll just fucking do it. I'll just lead.
Yeah.
And I feel like because we're both Leos, you and I do that. And so, yeah, that's just very normal. I won't like be a doormat. I won't give in, but I will try to compromise. That's really big with Leo moons. That's why they're pretty good like managers. My co-manager is also a Libra moon. So that's very interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she remembered that. She's like, you're a Libra moon, right? And I'm like, yeah. So
I didn't even know you had a Libra moon. A Libra moon, a co-manager.
you learned two things about me today.
Go ahead.
So yeah, above all, we value harmony and justice. And then finally, with my rising, I view things from like, how does this affect like overall justice? Like, how do my actions affect other people? Consider it.
Okay. I'm looking at our show notes here, and I see that you have first, second, and third Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. What's that about?
Yeah. So like I was saying, rising dictates the order of your houses. Your houses basically make up different parts of your life, and they all take up a sign. So your rising also dictates your first house, which is the house of self. So because I have a rising in Libra, my first house is in Libra. Your second house is the house of finances and tangible goods. So then it's going to be the next sign over. So for me, it's Scorpio. So when it comes to money and stuff, I'm a Scorpio. Okay. And then my third house has to do with communication, local community like neighbors, maybe siblings, but also when you're younger, school. And I was a Sagittarius in my third house. So I was really good at school because Sagittarius are like the philosophers of the zodiac. I love to read. I retained information. I understood big concepts. So that's why rising signs are really important, because they set the stage for everything else in your chart.
What about your house of Gucci? What house is that in?
Also my first. So now let's talk about you.
I was going to say, the Leo in me loves hearing about you, but I really want to hear about me.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So my big three, according to you, or you're like, I guess according to the stars or the sun, but are Leo, Cancer, and Sagittarius. So hit me with it.
Yeah. So again, Leo sun, which is really funny that we have a bunch of Leos in this house, but again, just leader, faithful to their pack. People remember you, but you can also stand up for yourself.
Okay.
So, but then your moon sign in Cancer, Cancers want their home to feel like home. They want to have a sense of security. They also usually tend to have good relationships with their moms.
Okay.
And you definitely have a great relationship with your mom.
Okay. And then what about, how does the other stuff characterize my Cancer? Like, that you know me personally.
You don't let your true emotions show for a very, very, very long time. We've almost no, but for real, because we've been together for almost a decade, and sometimes you still hide things from me. Like, not like things, but like emotions. Like, you won't tell me your emotions until you've like processed them. So the Cancer has like the hard exterior, but then inside it's soft, right? Like, you have emotions, you just really guard them.
So like Snickers bar.
Sure. If that helps you understand, tell yourself that your moon is in Snickers. That's fine.
Okay. So it's giving stoicism?
A little bit. Like, no, because you're still really caring on the outside. It's just like to really open up, like, you're not a super open book. You'll show people what you want to show people, but you'll still be very kind. It's like if someone asks you, "How are you doing?" You'll say, "I'm good. How about you?" And then you'll let people talk about themselves before you talk about yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then your favorite, what is my Sagittarius rising?
Yeah, Sagittarius are fire signs. They're really lucky. They're ruled by the planet of Jupiter. I forgot to say that your rising sign also determines your chart ruler and what planet energy you really should be working with. So, yeah, Sagittarius risings are just very lucky people because your chart ruler is in Jupiter. Things just freaking work out for you. That's why you love to try so many different things because it usually ends up fine. Maybe not like you're good at everything, not like that, but like it ends up okay. You're not scared to try new things. You're also very wise, and that's why you can pick up different skills. Like, you know how to do a lot of shit. Like, you can I remember when you told your coworkers that you can mount a TV and they were like, "What?" And then you know how to cook some bomb food and they're like, "What? You know how to do everything."
Yeah, I guess. We have the internet too, so I don't know how much of it it's me or how much is the highway.
You could just pick it up quickly because you know how to synthesize information as a Sagittarius.
What about, okay, but you always say that you love giving the example of that one time I woke up at 4 a.m. and started painting the house. What's the Sagittarius in that?
Because they're fire signs, they ignite really quickly. And if they're like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this like right now. Why wait for like the perfect conditions? I am the perfect condition.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So
that's going to take over. That should be our new tagline.
Yeah, that's very much you.
I guess this podcast is a good example of that, huh? I was like, fuck it, let's start a podcast. And
yeah.
Look at us, almost 30 episodes in.
Yep.
So I'll take it. All right. And then I got a 1, 2, 3 Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. So what does that mean for me?
Yeah. So your first house, because it's your rising, is in Sagittarius. So house of self, we just talked about that. Your second house is in Capricorn. Capricorn is the businessman of the zodiac. So as the kids would say, you got your money up. You're very responsible with your finances. Yeah. And it works out for you. Yeah. I don't want to like spill the tea on your finances, but like you can handle your business. And then, your third house, which is like house of education. I really think of like childhood education. That's like the most striking thing for me with the third house is Aquarius. So it's very interesting. Aquarius are like the oddballs of the zodiac. And you just always knew like, I've got this in the bag. So like, I don't need to be a tryhard in high school. Yeah. And then you're like, I'm going to do this my way. And you did after high school. So you really, Aquarius third houses have to learn in their own way.
Okay. They're not going to be dictated by the status quo.
Yes. And to them, they're like, grades don't fucking matter. Like my application matters and I'm going to learn how I want to learn.
Yeah. I would say that's very apropos. So I never really tried hard in high school. I was like, whatever grade I'll get. As long as I wasn't failing, I was happy with that. My mom probably thought otherwise, but I was never like a failing student. I think I graduated high school with like a 2.8 GPA, but man, did I have fun in high school. So like, to me, that's a good trade-off. And then I always knew I knew I wanted to go to college for sure, but I always knew I wasn't going to go straight to university. That's not something I ever like considered. I knew I was going to go to the local JC. And I think part of it though was because the city college I ended up going to was just incredible anyways. It was in Santa Barbara. Shout out Santa Barbara City College. And I was like, damn, this is going to be such a good time. Like, I don't have to stress about like applications. I never took the SATs and like, I kind of knew what my path was going to be. Where I did kind of stress a little bit was wrapping up City College. Cause then I was like, oh shit, now it's like for real. But yeah, I think I did get into all the colleges I applied to. So my road wasn't like as linear, I think, as most people, but I feel I got to the same place.
Exactly. And then ignore the show notes. I'm going to go out of order, but now we're going to talk about some celebrities. So Dolly Parton is a sun in Capricorn, a moon in Virgo, and a rising in Virgo, which is crazy because that's triple Earth. So she's super down to earth, even though is and was super hot and super rich. You know, sun in Capricorn, she's got her money up. She was meant to be blessed. She's also very giving and down to earth. So just like all those earth elements keep her grounded.
Yeah.
So sun in Capricorn, yeah, like she's this cute little thing, but she's a hustler and a businessman at heart.
Yeah.
That's her sun sign. I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for all the money she gave to charity, she would probably be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with her moon in Virgo, and her rising in Virgo, which is the same, equation that I had, again, wearing your heart on your sleeve, you can communicate what you're feeling, which is great as an artist.
Okay.
That's probably why she's a great lyricist.
What's the difference between Virgo and Libra in that sense? Because you said they're kind of the same thing.
No. So my moon and rising are the same, and then her moon and rising are the same in terms of like we wear our heart on our sleeve.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in sync.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So
moon and Virgo, just that creative outlet having.
No. It's that her moon and her rising are in sync, meaning that if she thinks, like, let's say, for example, Jolene, like if she was like, I want to convey an emotion of like this woman that was like, scorned, but still wants to keep her man regardless, even though she knows it's wrong. Like she can choose the right words to tap into the right emotions. Virgo is an earth sign, therefore it's like really analytical. So she can use the perfect words to express her emotions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dolly, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show. She probably would do her little rinky-dink show too.
And then rising, again, how you like process and understand. She's a very logical person. She's just very successful, and especially like and personable. So, she started, I don't know when, but she's obviously like a little on the older side, even though she's gotten a lot of Botox and looks great.
And I love that she doesn't like steer away from that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Leans into it, which is incredible.
But she became famous when it was a boys club, and all the management was men and everyone wanted her to be a certain way. She was still able to say, no, this is the Dolly show. And so you have to be very organized and tough. Like ultimately earth signs are very tough to like persevere. So I see that in her astrology.
Who's got more Dolly in them, you or me?
Neither of us, because let me see. None of us have anything earth in our big three between you and I. I'm fire, air, and then you're fire, water. Or no, fire, water, fire. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anybody's curious, so we each picked a few celebrities. I actually picked Dolly Parton. I've always been very admired just by her tenacity. So if y'all think that's Genesis' pick, you thought wrong. That was my pick.
And then RuPaul is a sun in Scorpio, a moon in Scorpio, and an ascendant in Gemini. People that are...
love RuPaul, don't you?
I love RuPaul. Anyway, so sun in Scorpio, people that have Scorpio aspects, just period, are very striking. Like, oh shit, like they're here.
My mom's sun is in Scorpio.
Yeah, your mom is also very memorable.
She's cool.
Yeah, but in like I feel like Leos, how do I say this? What you see is what you get. You already know what kind of person they are, versus like Scorpios are also striking like Leos, except a little more mysterious. Like, I wonder how they got here. Like, okay, let's use your mom as an example. This Mexican lady in like the Buddhist temple, people are going to notice her and they're like, I want to know her story.
Yeah.
Same thing with RuPaul. RuPaul, before being like a famous drag queen, was in the punk scene. And just like even as a little kid, like at 5 years old, people were like, what's that little kid's deal? You know, they can dance and sing and like they're so interesting. Like, why is this kid like this? And then like, why is this person like this? Like, that's really the Scorpio energy. Like, I want to know the story behind that. So, yeah, with the sun in Scorpio, it's like, bam, I'm here. But then with the moon in Scorpio, and RuPaul says this, RuPaul's like, you don't really know me. Nobody really knows me like that. So don't get it
He
twisted.
just knows himself.
Yeah. Or like his partner, like very few people. So similar to Cancer, where they have that tough exterior, but Scorpio has the stinger. So RuPaul's like, yeah, I have this, even though like RuPaul is RuPaul's legal name, but there's like RuPaul, the stage presence that is like super personable and bubbly, but then behind closed doors, super introverted and quiet and like can turn it off. So yeah, RuPaul guards his emotions super, super tightly, has really good boundaries, etc. The ascendant in Gemini is very interesting because Gemini is a very friendly sign. It's an air sign and just can really like make those connections and just build a community. Like RuPaul has been able to make this legacy of drag queens, like so many different like empires from RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, yeah, it is so fascinating.
Yeah. Cool. And our last celebrity is Mike Judge, also one of my picks. He's a director, creative, visionary. If you don't know who Mike Judge is, his work includes, he's a creator of Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, Idiocracy, Silicon Valley. So a lot of, like, I don't think I've ever seen something of his that I don't like. I like Beavis and Butthead. That's probably like my least, but obviously we talked about this so many times, but King of the Hill is my favorite show of all time. Idiocracy is a great movie if you haven't seen it. And then Silicon Valley is a super funny show. And before I worked in tech, like I thought it was funny, and now that I work in tech, it's even funnier. So
Yeah, so we don't have a time, so we don't know his rising, but the day he was born, there wasn't a moon shift, so we know for sure his sun is in Libra and his moon is in Gemini. People that have their sun in Libra, they know their aesthetic. Typically, like femme presenting people or women, with their sun in Libra, they will be like very fashionable. And I'm not saying that men can't be fashionable, but like Mike Judge is not the first person I think of when it comes to fashion. Yeah. However, he knows his aesthetic in his work, yes, which is all satire.
It's very unique. Yes.
Yes, and it's very unique, which is very true to him. And he's a double air, which is great because that's communication. And to communicate satire so effectively, you need to know how to set a scene and how to choose your words or really like create a story. So with the moon and Gemini, he can, again, air sign. Air is great for communication. Like tap into how do I make a piece that shows like the stupidity that is going on right now in America. Like King of the Hill is freaking timeless. Things that he wrote 20 years ago still hold up very well today because it's satire and unfortunately cyclical. And Mike Judge was like, this is so ingrained into like American culture that like the only way to bring it up and for people to really like digest it is to make fun of it in this very interesting way.
Ooh, goosebumps. All these three celebrities are three people I would love to interview. So if you have any connections, let us know. Awesome. Great episode. I think it's one of the ones that was, again, overdue. And this is your wheelhouse. This is your expertise. Unlike scrying, like you feel confident, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you want to get a reading from Genesis, please go ahead and do so. She just wrapped up a wonderful event. She was she did an event for a bachelorette party.
Yes. Yeah. So I totally realized that I don't really promote this, but I am available for live events. So if you want me at your next party, your next baptism, whatever, like I'm there, just call me. But yeah, I've done house parties, I've done bachelorette parties, and I get booked for like
Pop-ups.
yeah, pop-ups. So yeah, if you ever want me for live events or if you just want to do an astrology reading, let me know. So I did this bachelorette party yesterday. Someone came in a total skeptic. They were like, this is for funsies. I didn't know anything about them. This is the first time I met them, but I did their birth chart and they were like blown away. They were like, this is wild that
That's
you were able to like
incredible.
pick this out from my birth chart.
That's
So
awesome. And how can people get a hold of you?
yeah, my Instagram is Jen Kahlo, GENKHLO, and tarot with Genesis at gmail.com. We already have next month, no, not next month, the next topic up, which is La Manda, which is the request in Latin American folklore.
And if you have any requests or questions, there's still time to submit them, so please go ahead and do so.
Yes, by next time we will have May's schedule out.
Alrighty, everybody.
Remember, the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be, and signing off.
Bye.